from Basshole Studios in Hollywood, California.
Yo, what time is it?
You're listening to I'm a Basshole with Doug Bass. We've all been one.
He's an asshole.
So let's laugh about it. Now, here's your host, Doug Bass.
Hey everyone, welcome to I'm a Basshole. My name's Doug Bass. I'm your host, as always. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Basshole Show. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcast fix. Wherever you're listening, subscribe, hit the button, subscribe to the podcast. Follow our YouTube page at Doug Bass Comedy, or just go to YouTube and search for Basshole Podcast. That's where you can get the full video experience of the show. We have full episodes up there, so make sure you check all that stuff out. My personal comedian IG is at Doug Bass Comedy. In the studio, we have regular Basshole Rachel D at Rachel D Comedy. You can follow her there. My guest today is comedian Dan Green. You can follow him at Dan Green Comedy. Let's get to it. We are in the studio today. What's up, guys? This is Dan Green and Rachel D are here. How are you guys this morning?
Oh God, it's so early.
I know. We are recording this in the morning for a change, which we've never done actually. This is a first for a 10 a.m. Sunday recording.
I know. I'm used to you offering dinner. Now we got eggs.
Well, usually we're drinking during this.
Well, I mean, I'm still
now
drinking,
it's,
but
it's coffee and water. I don't know. How you doing, Dan? Thanks for coming in.
Mate, I get to be the first morning podcast.
Yes,
Is that how it works?
Yeah, this is the morning show. I don't even know if we should be revealing that because it's kind of a nighttime show. But
Mate,
whatever.
just because I'm an Aussie and I'm 16 hours ahead doesn't mean you got to do it different for me.
We
mate.
accommodated for the time change, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Well, welcome to I'm a Basshole. Rachel, how were you a basshole this week? Were you one?
oh God, how was I? I just got back from spring break. So
Oh my God, you actually did spring break?
I did spring break.
See, when you say like I got back from spring break, I'm like picturing you like on a beach, like drinking and
Oh yeah, I
partying.
definitely did a lot of that. It's pretty much the only reason why I'm still teaching is because I get to do spring break.
Yeah. Do they have, Dan is from Australia originally. Do they have spring break in Australia?
We have a thing in Australia called Schoolies.
Schoolies.
Schoolies Week is our spring break.
right.
It's basically, we don't really have a spring break where everybody just gets hammered like twice a year like you guys.
Right.
But when you graduate, it's called Schoolies Week and everybody ends up in one spot and like 2 or 3 kids die. And it works out all right. I mean,
there's always a death in the spring
What?
break,
It's just
right?
such a cute name for death and mayhem.
Schoolies.
We're
Well-
doing schoolies.
Yeah.
Well, it's like spring break in regard to the fact that even though the current batch of high school students are graduating, because you can drink at 18 in Australia, which means our youngsters are even dumber than yours.
Oh,
which
really?
is great.
That's a lot.
But then you get the 28-year-olds who go every weekend. I'm going to go to schoolies, man. That's where I'm going to party with the 18-year-olds. And you're like, oh, that's going to work great. That'll be a fantastic mix of people
yeah,
together.
Schoolies
Wow.
sounds like a bar that Americans would go to or something. Schoolies.
Yeah, schoolies. It just sounds so cute,
sounds
right?
cute,
It doesn't
fun,
sound
yeah.
like pedophiles.
pedophile-
Australian pedophiles
oh my
hitting
God.
up the.
Daytona Beach's underage strip
Yeah.
club, schoolies.
I'm gonna get to
yeah.
Dan's asshole stuff later, but yeah, Rachel, were you an asshole on spring break at all?
Oh my God. Oh, was I an asshole on spring break? I mean, I definitely. I watched a lot of assholes actually.
Sure,
it was
yeah.
interesting.
I think
to
spring
me.
break is
Like,
definitely asshole watching.
But yeah,
season.
I was in Lake Havasu though.
Oh man, I really want to
and-
go there. Is that like it's party
don't-
city? No?
It is a party city, but like it's mostly like 50 and 60-year-olds who have their second home in Lake Havasu.
Perfect.
And then go behave like they're 16-year-olds.
All right. They have the lake. They have boats.
Yeah,
Isn't
yeah.
the,
So they have
the
all,
London
like,
Bridge is there?
The London Bridge is there. I learned that.
I knew that. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, every time I met anyone new in Lake Havasu, they're like, we have the London Bridge, and I was like, I kind of don't give a fuck.
Is it
Like,
falling down?
I know.
Is
it
it
was like,
falling down?
unless it's falling down.
What is the
stop
story
telling
there?
me.
Why does Lake Havasu have the London Bridge?
It was
know?
a tourist trap. Like they were just like, oh, we want to get people to come here.
Did they get rid of the London? Was the London Bridge really falling down? Is that what happened? And then they got rid of it? And they brought it to Lake Havasu?
No, that London Bridge is solid.
Yeah,
No, but
it's a big, massive. I don't even know how they
I don't know.
like
That's
brick
just
by
so-
brick brought it over.
It's just so odd, right?
It's the weirdest
yeah.
expense for a little town to
Yeah.
like be
to
cool.
have some
and
kind of tourist thing.
I don't know. It's just really Lake Havasu is a whole bunch of like retired millionaires spending their time doing a lot of coke. Like that's basically what I observed.
Got it.
Well, you'd better hope they never get hit by one of them tornadoes, takes that bridge out, and then that town's fucked. It's got nothing going for it after
Right.
that.
Yeah, and half of the people who live there live on the island, and the only way you can get off of that island.
I feel like that's where they,
is
that's where they filmed that Piranha movie. I think, right? I think like
I
that
don't
horror
know.
movie.
I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I don't
all right, lots of assholes in Lake
I guess
Havasu.
I was definitely an asshole. I was supposed to be visiting my parents for most of it, and I kept coming up with reasons why I couldn't be there.
You're like, I'm on a boat.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's interesting. All right. So Dan, you also have a podcast called the Verbal Gym.
Yes,
correct?
mate.
Correct. How long have you been doing your podcast?
We're up to coming on 2 years now, 25
Nice.
episodes. Yeah.
Nice. That's great. Yeah. Are
Yeah.
you loving doing it?
Yeah, I think that we put something like that together basically because we wanted to impart to people who are about to come to LA to try and chase that stand-up dream how much work you need to put in, and that's specifically why I've grabbed people like Rachel who work their ass off in this business and what it takes to go through that. Because otherwise, you're sitting in Wisconsin going, "Oh fuck it, I'll just come out and do a TikTok and I'll get on stage."
Right.
Man,
And
I love
that might work, but that's also what I live for. That's actually what gets me rock hard is watching a TikTok comic bomb an opportunity. I mean, a really good
Yeah.
opportunity, not like an open mic, but actually get booked somewhere and go, you know what, I've made it. And
Well,
like,
yeah,
you know,
because
it's about
they
to
immediately get booked because they have like 500,000 followers or whatever, and it's like, oh, all right.
Dude, it's like taking a spacewalk without a helmet.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is going to end badly. This is
Right.
awesome, and I get to watch it. It's like watching a car crash.
Yeah, I love that. I didn't know that was the reason why you started the podcast. I love that it's basically to deter people from coming to LA to do comedy.
Watch this
Like, that
first,
is-
and then make a decision. Yeah,
Absolutely. No, it's even better. It's just like, just don't. Like,
don't.
it's
Just
too
don't.
fucking hard. Like, don't even stay in Wisconsin.
yeah. Why not? What part of Australia are you from, actually?
Mate, I'm from northern New South Wales, which sounds like it's in a different country, but it's actually basically where Chris Hemsworth has his big fucking house on the East Coast. If you go in about 4 hours, you get to my house,
Okay.
which is not on the coast and not in a very nice place, but it's in a nice country area. It's
Yeah.
on top of a mountain range.
That sounds awesome. I haven't been to Australia yet.
I grew up in a town with 23 people in it.
Wow. So everyone knew each other. Everyone.
Yeah, everyone
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
That's not a good thing.
Did you have to go to a different town for school?
Yes.
Or- okay.
Yeah, my mum drove the bus.
Yeah.
That was the hilarious. Dude, 23 people, one street, and I lived at number 22 Middle Street, and we were the first house on the block.
Wow.
I think it was just my dad just liked 22. He's like, you know what? This house is going to be number 22 on this street.
22. Yeah, there you go. There you
Yeah.
go. How long have you been in the States here?
Coming on 22 years.
22 years. Wow. All right. Cool. Very cool. I didn't realize that you were here that long. Yeah.
Well, I spent 5 years in the Middle East and parked my car here, but apart from that, yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm guessing you're loving it because you've been here this long.
Mate, I love yeah. It's great. It's a land of opportunity, man. That's why I love America, man. You can do anything you want out here, and you can be a TikTok dickhead comic as well. I mean, that's how it comes down to.
Are you on TikTok?
I have a very, very non-active. I'm on there just so
Yeah.
the Chinese can hack my phone.
Right.
That's all I'm on
yeah.
there for.
I feel it the same way. I'm on there, but it's like I've turned the podcast channel into my TikTok, so it's like that's how I'm on there.
Well,
as far as-
every once in a while, I just shoot like a selfie naked video just so the Chinese censor who's looking through my phone just never looks in this phone ever again. And so-
right. They block your account. From
Yeah.
viewing
Like,
it,
we got all we need from Dan Green. We don't need any more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rachel,
I tried
are you on
that
TikTok?
too.
Are you on
It didn't
TikTok?
work. It's,
You're on TikTok, right?
yeah. I do the TikTok. I don't understand it, but I mean,
Do you create actual videos in the app?
That's probably the problem.
That's what it's built for, right?
Oh.
Like you're supposed to create like content within there. I mean,
Yeah.
I just literally like repost like clips from this show on there or whatever, you know. But-
Yeah.
10 a.m. on a Sunday. I'm learning, Doug. I'm learning. That's why I'm here.
Because I have friends that are like, yeah, they're creating like, you know, like you can edit and add the effect and like, you know, whatever. It's like it's kind of like Vine meets YouTube meets TikTok, whatever it is. I don't know.
I don't know. I like the most views I've gotten on anything is like 1,000. So I don't understand the TikTok.
Usually, like something stupid you do would get more views than something you've actually put thought into. Is what I've realized, even on YouTube. I feel like
that's just soul crushing experience.
Yeah. I mean, like I've even on YouTube, like I've done like, you know, like web series and all this shit, like scripted shit, and it's like, oh, like 5,000 views. It's like, okay, thanks. And then like I dress up as some dumb character and do something stupid. It's like 1 million views. It's like, oh, all right, this is what people want to watch. All right, I get it. They think this person's real and they want to make fun of him. Okay. All right. Well, what else is going on? Are you still working at the Laugh Factory?
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I met you.
Yeah, I work the front door of the Laugh Factory.
Yeah, how's that going? Are you loving it?
I do actually. It's an interesting environment. I get to see the business side of comedy and a network above my pay grade, which is fantastic. And luckily, my comedy now is catching up to my networking, which is nice. Yeah. Are you on shows there? Sorry, what? Oh, the TV.
There we go. Mm-hmm. We blacked out for a second.
You know why? Because I don't have my camera operator here today, so I pressed the wrong camera button. This is the hard part. Is like I'm doing all this shit at once, so I'm like, oh yeah.
No, unlike the Improv and the Store and some other clubs, stage time is not encouraged by staff at the Laugh
That's
Factory.
what I've heard. Yeah, like I've noticed that through some of your old colleagues and stuff like that have worked there. Like, yeah, they don't really give you an opportunity, right?
No, I think the manager would much rather me concentrate on work while I'm there. But right. You know what? I lied to get the job. When I got the job, I told them I wasn't a comic, and for 6 months I kept it a secret, and then was like, haha. Yeah,
I'm a comic. Yeah, that's what people are doing now. Like Improv, they're like, oh, we're not hiring comedians anymore, and they're like,
it's lies.
Yeah.
Some 5'2" dude who weighs like a jockey's whip rocks up and goes, yeah, I'm a bouncer.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
No,
yeah,
dude, you're a comic.
Yeah.
The Improv isn't hiring comics now either.
That's
is that
what I
they're
heard.
saying?
Well, they hired a bunch of new people, and apparently, like, oh, we're not hiring comedians anymore. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, they don't want. Yeah, because it's like.
Well, I mean, I kind of get it.
It's a pain in the ass. Like,
we're really not good at working.
No, like it's like everyone wants off, like, you know, Friday for a show or something, you know, and it's like everyone's unreliable, you know. It's like, but they show up and they do their thing, you know. So it's like I get it. As a manager of a business, it's a fucking nightmare scheduling that shit with comics. I can't even imagine like trying to do that.
Well, I was lucky. I'd been a bouncer for 17 years before I turned up at the Laugh Factory. So they're like, oh yeah, okay.
Right. Now what kind of bouncing jobs did you mostly bars, clubs?
Douchebag high-end nightclubs, mate. Oh yeah, asshole fucking
Let's get into your asshole. I feel like you have a couple asshole stories. Usually people come on here and they have like one or if that. So
it all comes down to people think you got to graduate to being an asshole. You can't be an asshole before you turn 30. You're just a prick before then. You've got to graduate and get some age on it and some salt on it, and then you can be a true asshole.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, I think, because like if you're a young kid, you're doing asshole things, but if you're a true asshole adult wise,
then it kicks in, then you enjoy it.
Right.
You start to really get
your
teeth into it. Yeah. But like I said, I worked the door of douchey nightclubs for 7 years at one club, a couple of clubs in particular. I stood in front of a full nightclub with a radio earpiece in, connected to no radio. If you can imagine how that works, it's like good old Doug turns up with his buddies to the front door, and he's like, "Yeah, I want to come in." I'm like, "You know what, man? Let me just check with upstairs. Let me check with upstairs." Yep. No, he's good. He's a good person. They look like great people. Like, listen, I know they don't have any chicks with them, but you know what? I vouch. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, boss. I'll tell him. Look, man, I tried, man. I couldn't get you in there, mate. I did that for 7 years, man. People thought I was the nicest dog in the world, just a complete prick who was just avoiding confrontation, mate.
That's a good trick, I would say. Yeah. That's
Dude, you can do anything with an earpiece, and you can walk into anything.
Right. I'm gonna start going to bars with earpiece.
I'm gonna start doing that. Yeah.
You know what? I would love to go out with you. But wait, let me
make a call.
Let me check in with upstairs.
Let me make a call.
You better watch out. It might backfire. They might walk up to you and go, "I'll have 10 chicken wings, thanks."
I can't imagine. I mean, because I worked the door at Improv as well, so like that's a taste of. I mean, it's not bouncing at all, but it's like it's a taste of like what that world is a little bit.
Well, it gets combative, and that's the thing. I mean, basically some of those, one or two of those places in particular, I was making a ton of money, but you're having 6 conversations at once, and there's no way to have 6 conversations at once and be polite at the same time. You're just like, nope. This isn't even a fucking conversation. You're next. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
you pick and choose what's important at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was blunt as well.
Yeah.
I was completely blunt about why people weren't fucking getting into places either.
Well, it's like, you're a big guy. You got the, the Australian dialect there. It's like who the hell's going to want to mess with you, I would say.
Oh, don't worry. I've been stabbed a few times. Don't worry.
You've been stabbed?
I've been stabbed 4 times.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I've learned where to
and this is
pick
through
your battles.
This is through work related things or just like a fight? A knife fight.
3 times professionally, 1 time recreationally.
All right. Was that in Australia? Or was that here?
This is fun.
All here?
All here.
There's definitely more violence in America, I'm guessing. Just having the knife fight in Australia.
Yeah, don't worry. I earned the recreational one in America. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'd have stabbed me too. I was a bit of a dick that night.
Oh God.
Well, I want to know what happened.
What provokes someone to stab you?
Recreationally.
I made the mistake of tipping over a plate of drugs at a party.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
That'll get you stabbed.
We talking like a thing of cocaine and
we're probably talking that, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right. I was clumsy around that.
Were you drunk and knocking them
hammered.
Hammered and knocking over a plate of drugs.
Knocked over a plate of drugs and that'll get you stabbed and thrown through a window.
Shit.
Wow, who threw you through a window? That's impressive.
Pushed.
Okay.
Pushed through a window. All right.
I want to meet the man who
thrown
Dan
is
Green
like, yeah,
through
we're
a
picturing
window.
someone picking you up and throwing you.
The Rock was at the party.
Still here though, didn't work.
Man, so like, is everyone doing the drugs and you just like accidentally knock it over? Like, and they're in the middle of like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, I think it was that point when you get to the point of the party around 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning, and the only thing left is drugs. You've drunk all the liquor.
Right, everything's gone.
These are the kind of things. This is how you find yourself at someone's house you hate at 10 o'clock in the morning playing cards with people because all that's left is drugs.
Right.
At that point,
it's like it's time to go home, but it's like obviously
you're like, I hate you. Oh, well, more drugs. Okay, cool.
But I
well,
love this
still
guy
here.
with the plate of drugs. Yeah. So someone just pulls out a knife and stabs you after you.
Yeah, they were unhappy.
Yeah.
They were unhappy with that, and then the window kind of was the coup d'etat on top of that.
Because this is a lot of money you just like threw away. I'm guessing
at 4 a.m. it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
At 4 a.m. At 4 a.m. it's the last. That's the thing. So yeah.
Now, how bad is the stab wound? Do you go to the hospital? What happens? Oh my God! All right, right in the arm. Right in the
arm.
The arm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
A lot of blood. I'm guessing.
A little bit of that one. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Then this is the recreational stab.
That's recreational. Rest and roll professional.
Now these are on the job stabs, like at a club or something.
Yeah. Usually how bouncers get stabbed at clubs is when you've got your hands full. When you've got your hands full and you've already got one person in each hand, or you're carrying both, or you've got someone tied up in both. That's usually like if you've got to throw out a guy with 4 buddies,
right? And
I've got to grab the one guy, and I'm only working by myself. Then I'm going to eat some punches. That's the thing. I mean, whenever I used to hire guys to work clubs, I'm like, they go, "Oh, I'm a kung fu fucking megastar." All this. I said, "Can you take a punch?" "Oh, I never get hit." That wasn't the question I asked. I asked, "Can you take a punch?" I said, "I can't fight for shit, but I got a fucking chin like a glob of concrete. I know how many punches I can take."
Right.
And you're going to eat a few on the way to the door because his buddies are going to be smashing the shit out of you while you're holding on to the really violent one, and you're dragging him out.
Oh.
And then the other guy just has a knife.
Well, yeah, some of them are smart, some of them are dicks, and some of them have a slash at you while you're on the way to the door. So
when they stab you at the club, where are they stabbing you this
arms.
time?
It's always arms.
Always arms.
It's always arms, shoulder. I got one on the shoulder.
So they're trying. They're really not trying to kill you, obviously.
No one's trying to. They're just like I don't know the reason. Trying to get you to drop their buddy.
Drop their buddy with a puncture wound to the arm.
Now what they don't realize is I'm that much of a prick that if you fucking punch me in the head, I will take your buddy's head and I'll smash it into a door frame on the way. And what you end up with is this bizarre procession of the bloke getting dragged out, yelling at his friends, going, stop hitting him, because every time you hit him, I get hit as well. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to keep doing this until they stop hitting me.
Do you ever like hit them with him? Like, just like take the dude and just use him as like
hit a guy with a guy.
A guy with a guy.
Headbutt each guy.
I wish I was like big like that I could do that.
I'd love the opportunity to hit a guy with a guy, but I think that's one of the things I missed out on in 20 years of doing doors is I never hit a guy with a guy.
Never hit a guy with a guy. Did you ever have to throw anybody out of the Laugh Factory?
I've done it 3 or 4 times.
I'm sure, yeah.
And you got any good ones for that? Any good stories?
I got a couple of good ones, but I got a couple of good ones. I've been hit with I've had 2 people try and hit me with a chair at the Laugh Factory.
Right.
Like pick up a chair?
Pick up a stool and try to hit me with it.
That's how much they wanted to stay at the show that they ruined?
Well, one guy was my first day at the Laugh Factory. It was 3 years ago.
First day?
Wow. Was a guy from Texas, and we put him out. And then he decided to protest being thrown out of the club and sat in the lobby like an Indian in the middle of the room. I said, I'm not leaving. And I said, cool. And I just sat there and just grabbed a Coke and just sat there and just said, well, we can just sit here and talk then. I said, I'm fine. I'm not going to drag you out by your ears. That's what you want. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to do that. I know. There's a reason I haven't been sued in 20 years.
And especially now today more than ever, it's like you really don't want to touch these people unless you absolutely have to.
Well, you assume that after 4 seconds you're being recorded these days.
Right, exactly.
People were a lot nicer back in the day where you just get slapped.
Right.
Or stabbed.
Or stabbed. But like now there's like a lawsuit or whatever, it's like all this shit like you gotta potentially deal with in the back end of it almost.
And this guy was pretty good until his missus turned up. And then I was like, as soon as his girlfriend walked around the corner, I was like, oh shit, this is about to change. And it did. He bounced up and was like, you know what? And he got all full of everything. And I was like, oh, God. And the only thing left in the chair, well, there's a reason that bar stools in Texas where we used to work are heavy. Yeah. So you can't get hit with them.
Right.
The stools at the Laugh Factory are like the ones you'd see in old cowboy movies back in the day. Where
they're like breakaway props almost, like made out of like balsa wood or whatever.
The guy just picks it up. I'm like, I'm going to eat this. Right. And it takes us. I thought it took a swing. I think he was actually aiming for the little shadow boxes full of memorabilia originally, and then he saw me and was like, I'm going to have a crack at you instead.
Right. Yeah, it's weird. The comedy clubs, they get these people that they're drunk but they don't want to leave, or they want to heckle or whatever, and they always think they're right, and it's very interesting, especially like I was bartending, like my first bartending shift at the Improv, like these 2 girls would not leave. They wanted like more drinks, and they just sat there until like 2 in the morning. Like no one wanted to put their hands on them. They get out of here, and they wouldn't leave, and they were just like, nah, we're right, and it was a disaster.
I'll just boredom you to death at that point. At that point, people just want an argument, and I'll just be like, nope, I'm going to be the Sphinx.
Right.
I'm just going to sit there and be the most unentertaining argument you've ever been in. But the juice for someone like me in that regard is it costs you probably $100 to get drunk, but you're going to sober up arguing with me, and you basically just set $100 on fire.
Right.
And that's the pleasure I get. That's the asshole moment I get at that point, watching you just destroy what buzz you had.
Right. And you can't get any more.
You can't get any more at this point. Oh, the bars are shut now? Oh, now you're just having a shit night and you're just in a horrible mood.
And then you got to wait for your car or your walk home.
I'm about to drink till dawn.
Right.
Because industry rules are different.
Right.
And you can cop it. But yeah.
Yeah, bars definitely have a lot of assholes like lurking around, and as a bouncer, dealing with that is insane at times. I would think it's just
it was wild before phones. I bounced before cell phones.
And with the cam, everyone's got a camera now.
No cameras, dude. It was fucking on.
Yeah.
Back in those days.
Well, everything. Like you can get away with so much shit. Like just like I didn't say that. I didn't do this.
It went both ways too. It was 2-way traffic. You got a lot more fights because people didn't care either. And that was the ice on your knuckles in the buckets after work kind of things.
Right. Oh man, Rachel, have you ever worked in a bar?
I worked. The last bar I worked at was Pink Taco.
Oh, Pink Taco.
Wake Up on Sunset.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was just like a asshole magnet.
Well, Sunset Strip.
Oh my God.
I mean, Laugh Factory, Sunset Strip, Pink Taco. So Sunset Strip, you definitely get your crew of assholes waltzing in. Yeah.
And then the Pink Taco. I mean, just the name alone is just like just a magnet for like dick.
I think what sets people off at comedy clubs and with the two drink minimum is what gets people going. And then they see on the menu Long Island iced tea, and they're like, fuck it, I'm getting as much alcohol as I can. So
Yeah.
I'm going to drink 2 Long Islands in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to, and most people are just like, done.
Some-
Over.
you know,
my
some-
girlfriend can't drink hers. Well, now I'm drinking 3.
Right.
Okay, cool. And you
I
just
forgot
over.
that drink. You know, I just recently remembered that drink existed. Like, because like every place I would go to, no one would ever order that. You know, and now someone ordered it last night for me, and I was like, fucking.
Wait, what do? You just grab I think you would just grab the swill bucket and just pour it into
Well, you know,
where you just empty the remnants of all the drinks.
A lot of
like,
clubs
just,
now.
I feel like that's what a Long Island iced tea is.
There's a bottle that just says Long Island iced tea, which is mixed with everything, and you just pour that with some Coke. But like, yeah, like the true way is to grab each bottle of,
I was just, like the bucket.
Yeah, the
where
bucket.
You dump the
That's
remnants.
that's
of
just
all
called
of
the bar mat shot special.
Yeah.
Like,
we used to have a thing in Australia called the White Lightning. And the White Lightning was basically our version of the Long Island iced tea because we didn't really have Long Islands in Australia. But the White Lightning was a special occasion drink where they just grabbed they grabbed a schooner glass of beer, they put 6 ice cubes in it, and they grabbed every white spirit on top of the bar, just put it all in there, and a little bit of Coke for color on top.
Yep.
And every time you took a sip out, you got to take out an ice cube. And when you were left with no ice cubes, you had to shotgun the rest.
Oh, gross.
Absolutely fucking insane.
Have you guys? Was there a time that you would order Long Island iced teas, like in college, like as a kid, whatever? I don't know. Was there ever a phase where like that's gonna be my drink going out tonight? Or whatever?
No, that was never.
But you've had one though.
I don't think I've even had one.
Really?
I really don't. I mean, because I've in my mind, it's always been the swill bucket. Like
Right.
like I just do. Like I've always imagined like that's what bartenders do.
I think I ordered that drink like twice when I first started drinking because I was like, oh, I hear it's the strongest drink or whatever, and I like tried it and I was like, yeah, it's all right.
What does it taste like?
It's I don't.
Does it
remember.
taste like iced tea?
No, I mean it's. I don't even remember. I don't think
that's what happens when you drink a Long Island iced tea.
Yeah, you don't
just
remember.
don't even remember.
It's been so long since I've had one. I think I'm gonna have to try it. Maybe next week I'll try it. Like I'll make one and just be like,
it's such a horrendous thing. It's like I was talking to someone the other day and I said the booze that you first drank when you were a young fella. I mean, I don't know what time when you started drinking, but if you can remember,
I think I was born in alcohol.
I ruined vodka for life for me because I drank it so badly when I was 15.
Yeah.
And I can't touch vodka now because of what I did to myself when I was 15 with. I used to drink it with Coke and it was stupid and it was horrible.
wow.
Vodka and Coke, that's small
Vodka
town.
Coke.
That's some small town shit right there.
Yeah.
Vodka and Coke, you don't know what to do. You're like,
Right.
just put Coke in it. That'll work.
Just put something in it. Yeah.
I can't now. I can't drink vodka anymore. It gives me I really can't handle it.
Yeah.
I can handle everything else. I love
You drink those still, right? Yeah.
I quit getting drunk.
Yeah.
I got drunk for about 15 years. I drank a lot when I was running bars and working bars
Right.
because you just do. I think I was putting away about 2 bottles of whiskey a week.
Yeah.
Just didn't even realize it. And I quit when I took up comedy. I quit getting drunk.
Yeah.
Now I still like a drink. I'm one of those few people that likes the taste of bourbon.
Right. Yeah. You like a cocktail. You like a drink.
No, I'm a neat guy. I like it neat.
Neat,
I
neat.
like it.
All right,
I like a little burn on me.
whiskey neat or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Bourbon makes everything taste
But now it's
better.
under control. I'm the same. Yeah. It's like it's like I don't know. I'll get drunk every now and then.
I was gonna say,
Every
but
now
you're
and
like,
then.
I only have one. I was like, that's some bullshit right
No,
there.
I mean, I don't know if I get like I don't get wasted anymore.
After hours used to kill me. That's the
After hours.
That was the thing that was what made working in bars special was what you can do between 2 and 6 a.m. that no one else gets invited to.
Right.
That being in an empty bar and just shooting the shit with with people you work with and just unloading the work day or the work week.
Absolutely, yeah. Are
Those drinks are the best drinks.
What are the bars in Australia? Are they open late or like
They change a lot. I hadn't been home in 8 years. I went home just recently.
Okay,
And
yeah.
We have lockout laws now where at 1 a.m. you're not allowed in anywhere.
1 a.m. is done. That's it.
The bar is open till 3, but no one new was allowed to walk into it after
Okay,
1 o'clock.
so if you were there at like 12:30, you can drink
can
there
stay.
till 3 a.m. or whatever.
You can stay, but if you leave for a second, you're not coming back in.
That's not bad. I like that kind of idea. They like that. They should do that here probably. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think. Here's the thing. Like, there's definitely been times. Like, I know LA is an early city, whatever. I think they have passed a law, like in West Hollywood proper, that the bars are open later now, or some bars, like a club or whatever, could do like 3 a.m. or something. But it's very pick and choose kind of thing. But yeah, there's times where I've been in a bar. It hasn't been often, but like. it is 1:30, and I'm like, oh man, they want everyone out by 1:30 now. You know, it's like last call is 1:30. You know, and they want you out of there before 2, way before 2. But yeah, if they let everyone stay there till 2:30 or 3, you know, you're there. Yeah, that would be kind of cool. I think, you know, even if you're not drinking, even if you're like sobering up or what, I don't know, whatever, just hanging out.
Now, the town I went to high school in, they banned shots in that town. In the town.
No shots.
It's only 8,000 people in the town. Yeah. And they banned shots. You can't buy a shot of alcohol. You can buy a mixed drink, but you can't buy a shot of bourbon or a shot of Jaeger. I think Jaeger was the one that tore the wheels off this town. Jaeger fucked it up.
Jaeger fucks
But you got to remember.
Jaeger fucks up everything.
This is an 8,000 person town that has 16 pubs.
16 pubs.
That's a lot of pubs for 8,000 people. And yeah, they do well.
Yeah.
And yeah, they just had to say, listen, we're shutting this shot shit down. No way.
No shots.
No more shots.
Because that's the thing people do at like last call. It's like, oh, we're going to do, you know, grab a shot.
Well, I think that, I mean, why else? I mean, do you do shots? It's to get fucked up.
To get fucked up.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean.
My favorite is always like, I've been like, you know, last call. And I'm like, okay, yeah, give me another, you know, margarita or whatever, you know. And then they literally like, all right, here you go. And they put it down. And then they're like, all right, everyone out.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm literally like everyone's got to leave. Drinks down, you know. And it's like, dude, I just paid $20 for this. Like, I can't even. And like, they're encouraging you to chug it. Like, it's like, yeah, we'll give it to you, but you better chug that fucking margarita. And I'm just like, get the fuck out of here.
I ran illegal after hours in Houston once. And
illegal what? Wait,
illegal after hours in
Houston.
Okay. Yeah. And we're sitting there and we're serving, and you always get shut down eventually doing those things. You start out by selling little water bottles of vodka for $20 or $40 of vodka. And then you're like, you know what? We're selling so many of these. Let's just put a carafe on the tables and we'll do that. And we'll put vodka in that. No one will notice. Right. And then fucking 2 months later, you're like, fuck it. Let's just put bottles of goose on the table at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's when the cops turn up.
Yeah.
But we're in the water bottle phase of selling liquor. And I'm standing in front of this bar and these 2 cops turn up in their car and they pull up and they go, damn, what are you still doing here? You guys are still open? It's 3:30 in the morning. I'm like, yeah, we're still open. He goes, what? Huh? And I said, oh, let me explain it to you, officer. I said, it's an anti-drink driving initiative we started because we realized so many people were leaving at 2 o'clock in the morning hammered. Right. We just thought we'll leave the club open for an extra 2 hours. Don't serve any alcohol and just let them dance off the liquor. So it gives you guys less work to do when they come out on the road.
I mean,
he looked at me and was like, and I could hear the cogs turning over in his head. He's like, is this fucking guy fucking with me? And I'm like, no. He goes, I said, you can come in and have a look if you like, officer. Hoping he wouldn't say yes. And he's like, no, I trust you, Dan. And as they drove off, 2 guys come out the front door and they go, can I have 2 bottles of vodka? And I'm selling them out of the gutter above my head. Right. I can reach up and grab.
Well, that's what doesn't make sense. Like, that's not a bad idea. Like, you know, all right, dancing from 2 to 5 or whatever. I don't know, whatever.
I think that's why the cop believed him because, like, that's a legit, beautiful idea. That's not the fuck what he was doing, right?
No. But it would be like, you know, people do want to stay out. But like the problem with, I think, you know, especially like Americans, it's like they're gonna want that liquor. I think, especially
it's called a rave, and that's why you take ecstasy.
Right. Yeah, you know, you pack something in your pocket for those hours where you can't get the booze or whatever.
By the way, if you're ever at an after hours and you don't think they serve alcohol, look for the guy with the backpack.
Right,
that's the guy.
Someone's
with all
got
the
something,
booze.
or you carry a flask or a rum runner or something.
Always,
you know.
it's like selling drugs. There's always a runner, and that's the guy with the backpack. You pay a guy over here, and you go over and see that guy over there, and he gives you a bottle of vodka out of the backpack. That's
there's like there's like places right here on 3rd Street that's like, you know, they're open till like 3:30, but yeah, they don't serve booze. So like people are out there smoking hookah, and you know, there's a DJ and whatever, and people are just hanging out eating. You know,
that's like taquerias in Houston. There's always a red cup somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know anything about the after hours scene in LA here?
No, thank God. When I got here, it's funny. Once I quit the booze industry, I realized I had to start paying for drinks, and I hadn't paid for a drink in about 14 years, and shit got expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive. Yeah. Drinks are expensive, right?
I was like, holy
I know.
Fuck.
I got a tequila soda last night, and after tip, it was $20.
Where was that?
La Poubelle on Franklin. I was like, what the fuck?
$20 for a margarita, you said?
No, it was a tequila soda. Just a tequila soda. I was like, I left. I was like, I'm going back to the bar where I know the bartender.
Well, I'm literally going to the same bars now where I'm like, okay, I can get free drinks here or like cheap drinks. Or
that's the way you survive in LA. You got to know the bartenders.
Yeah, I just flat out gave up getting hammered. And I was like, you know what?
It's too expensive.
But you've got to have a beer to be social, but apart from that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, something in your hand to like not.
Yeah,
feel
no,
awkward.
I will legit just get a soda water with lime, and it looks like I'm.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I'll do soda and bitters, which looks like some kind of cocktail.
Yeah,
I'll do that.
because like it's too expensive.
I'll do that. I'll do that at an expensive place. Sure.
But yeah, I realized I had the drinking habits of a millionaire when I was like, oh, this can't continue. And I ended up in my car for 10 months during the pandemic, and you don't want to be a drunk in your car. Once you're living in your car,
you were living in your car for 10 months during pandemic?
Yeah.
How was that for you?
It was interesting. I did comedy out of my car.
All right.
Yeah, that kept me going. I made $12,000 doing comedy shows
How
out of my car.
How long have you been living in LA? You have Texas ties, right? Like
I was in Texas for 17 years.
17 years. So the bulk of your time was in Houston. Is that what it was? Yeah. How did you like Houston as far as doing comedy?
People in Houston are fantastic. I didn't do comedy until I moved to LA.
Okay.
Like I had a near heart attack in Houston after doing working 4 jobs, and self-diagnosed what I thought was a heart attack in a strip center parking lot about 10 o'clock on a Sunday, actually.
Jeez.
And it turns out it wasn't a heart attack. It was just a lot of stress.
Yeah.
And,
panic attack?
Well, no, but my blood pressure was around about 230, 220. It was solid. I was like, it was about to explode. But they said, you need to figure out what you're doing and quit 2 or 3 of these jobs.
Right.
And I had a friend out here in LA who was doing comedy at the time, and I was like, I'm funnier than you. And I looked at him and I was like, I can come out here and do this. Like, can I come out here and do this? And he said, yeah, come out. So I sold everything, and I'm the only comic I think in LA who sold his handguns to pay for gas to come and be a comic.
Trade in your Texas handguns.
Trade in my Texas
for more
guns.
of
two
a California gun-free area. Yeah.
2 handguns and a shotgun paid for my first month in LA.
All right.
And I was hooked straight away, man. As soon as I got on stage and started doing stand-up, I was like, this is what I should be doing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you lived in your car for 10 months when you moved here?
My housing fell apart 4 weeks before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Good timing.
Yeah.
And I was in the Laugh Factory parking lot and thinking this pandemic thing will only go for a month.
Right.
And I was like, oh, no. And then by about month 2, I realized I'm too broke to move back to Texas. It's a $500 drive to get back there.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck it. All right, well, we're staying here. And started doing every 2 weeks I would do a show out of my car, a live stream, and people were following that in Houston, and it worked out really well.
You live stream from your car. You did the podcast kind of?
Well, what I would do is try and write 24 premises every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then just basically, the beautiful thing about a car is you can be set up like this, but I basically had all the premises written out on a piece of cardboard right there.
Right.
And giving to camera and just exploding them organically as I went. And did that for 20 minutes straight. So it's almost like a 20-minute suggestion mic, so to speak, or something like that, where I'm just bang, 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 these topics out. Now, of that 20 minutes, 5 minutes of it might be usable for the stage, but I mean, thankfully it was entertaining enough, and people.
Yeah, but like that's a great work ethic, and like it always fascinates me. People that have lived in their car that are pursuing comedy, acting, their dreams, whatever. Because it's got to be such a challenge to just live, I would imagine.
Dude, I was wearing a suit in my car.
Yeah, so you get the job at the Laugh Factory when you first move here?
Yeah. So 3 days after I came to LA, I drank my way into that job with Jay Davis.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, Jay Davis and me were drinking. I got introduced to him by a friend, and we were drinking at the Naughty Pig, and I was telling him war stories about the bouncing days, and they were up for a change at the Laugh Factory, and he just said, whatever you do, don't tell them you're a comic, and come get the job.
That's awesome. So you get the job, and then you're living in your car out of the parking lot there.
Yeah.
And did they know this? Did they?
Well,
did they catch on to it?
The first month I was trying to kind of do it low key, but also I was sleeping on a CPAP machine.
For snoring and stuff,
which is difficult to do in a car.
How do you do that in a car?
Well, you leave the engine running.
Oh my god!
And
you have it plugged into
the car, and you leave the engine running all night.
Jesus!
And so that made it even more trickier. So wearing a suit and ties, so you basically got to shower at the gym, that's how you roll.
Right.
You roll there on a CPAP machine. Thankfully, after about the 3rd month, someone ran me a line out to the car, and I didn't have to use gasoline anymore.
Okay. And, so they give you a power supply for the CPAP machine.
Yeah, which worked out real well.
Right. But, you're not wasting gas.
But I'm still 6'3" and 405
What kind of car are we talking about?
We're talking a Ford Explorer, mate. The Ford Explorer Studios, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, at least it wasn't like a civic sport or something.
Smart car.
Didn't buy it with
Kia
that
or something.
intent. Didn't buy it with that intent. Funny thing is, the poor old Ford Explorer got repoed at an open mic. I watched it get towed away while I was on stage. I'm going, look at that guy's piece of shit Ford Explorer.
And you're like,
Mine's
wait
way
a minute,
better.
that's my fucking
Like, oh,
house
fuck,
and
that was
car.
my car.
Yeah. So wait, it gets repoed while you're still living
Well,
in it?
no, I wasn't living in it.
Okay, all right.
I
God,
got
thank
lucky.
God.
The
Jesus.
best thing about living in that, my plan all along, living in that parking lot, the Laugh Factory owns an apartment building.
That's right. Yeah, a couple comics I know live over there.
Yeah. And I'd seen that maybe someone might be moving out in 2 months, and I was like, oh yeah, if I sit here and look pathetic for long enough, I might get a shot at this.
Yeah.
And that person didn't move, and I was like, now I'm fucked. And I was too poor to move anywhere, and I was like, you know what, we're just going to have to muscle it out. And I called my parents back in Australia, and I had actually had a plane ticket home at that point.
Really?
My dad was like, if you come home, you might get stuck here. The laws are changing in Australia, and they did change. And I'd have lost my green card. I'd have lost everything. If I stayed in Australia, I'd be there right now. This wouldn't be happening.
Right.
And he said, stay. And I'm like, oh, I hadn't seen my dad in forever, and it was a big deal. And I was like, okay. He says, I'm proud of what you're doing right now, which had a lot to do with him not being proud of the shit I'd done previously. And I'm like, okay, well, cool.
This is better.
This is better.
I'm the only.
You're not getting stabbed as often.
You know how much of an asshole you were when your parents are proud the fact that you're going to become an open mic comic, and you're like, Jesus Christ. So, yeah, I'm sitting in the car, and I'm like, all right. And 10 months later, someone finally moved out. And Harry Basshale's son moved out, who does the Laugh Factory in Vegas. I got his old apartment.
All right.
And yeah, I still had to compete with 3 or 4 other comics who wanted it. And
So it's hard to get those apartments, I'm imagining, because it's like
Yellowstone, man. I actually got a brand of the Laugh Factory over here somewhere. I've been branded out in this thing.
they own you.
They own me a little bit, yeah. Yeah, so, but yeah, man, I mean, yeah, it was worth it in the end, and it was one of the happiest days of my life finally getting that place when I got it.
That's awesome, man. Congrats.
I couldn't ask for a better location.
I mean, you could walk to work. It's right there, right?
You can walk to the store. You can walk to
everywhere. You can walk the whole strip. Yeah.
Now I'm a little bit lighter. I can walk to the Improv.
Yeah, yeah.
So
get to Pink Taco really.
Right. Exactly.
I can't afford to eat a Pink Taco. That's why I get asked all the time. I get asked at the Laugh Factory. They're like, "Oh, where do you recommend I eat?" I said, "I'm too poor to eat in this suburb.
Yeah.
I can't even do it." Ralph's.
I know, yeah.
yeah. Bristol Farms is right across the street. You can't
do
that.
Oh
can't do that.
That's
Walked in there.
expensive.
No, I can afford the rotisserie chicken at Bristol Farms.
Yeah.
If I'm lashing out.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, that's a great story. I mean, I'm glad to see that you are not in your car. Obviously, thank God.
Well, it's not possible now.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Well, it's gone. Yeah, it's gone now. It's gone now. I get it. But yeah, you have your apartment and all that stuff, and then and you got a great opportunity at the factory, which is awesome.
Well, yeah, it's a good networking opportunity.
Sure.
And other clubs are starting to realize the stuff I'm putting together now too, which is.
And now you're producing shows in Houston still. I see that you go back there.
At the end of every 6 months, I go out to Houston and I fly a couple of comics from LA out and put on a really good show. I realize that producing your own show is the only way you can do long sets.
Yeah, for sure.
And I wanted to do a room. Obviously, I sold guns and champagne in Houston for 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what better line of contacts can you have?
Yeah, so you have a lot of contacts there.
Well, yeah. People ask what my demographic is in Houston, and it's over 35s with 2 kids who still do coke. I mean, it's a really good
check
crowd.
Out Lake Havasu.
That's my group.
Yeah, but, do a Dan Green show at Lake Havasu.
But so going back there, it's fun. It's a really good bar. We've turned into a comedy club for a night. It's a fantastic space.
That's awesome. I've never been to Houston.
I've taken some good people down there. I'm taking Mike Ishak and Johnny Mitchell down there at the end of this month.
Nice.
And we're going to cut it up down there. And next month I start producing shows in LA for the Australian community. So we're going to start putting on. I think we got Adam Ray and Kira Sultanovich and Sarah Lawrence on the first one.
Awesome. Where are these shows going to be?
They're going to be a place called Miss Melbourne Coffee down on Santa Monica Boulevard.
Miss Melbourne
holds about 80 people. We're going to put about 80 people in there.
Where is that? Hollywood?
West Hollywood.
West Hollywood.
Is it actually a coffee shop?
It's actually a coffee shop.
Oh.
So
Where
it's
is that?
Australian coffee, and apparently we're better at it than you are. That's why.
That's what I hear. Flat white, right?
Yeah, flat white.
I think everybody's better at coffee
and
than the US.
They got meat pies.
I think everyone's
sausage
better.
rolls,
Oh, wow.
all that good
That's
shit.
cool.
Man, I gotta. Yeah, the U.S. definitely has things going on for it, but I think coffee cuisine. I don't know. It's
Coffee,
everywhere.
yeah, coffee.
You can get that Aussie good down there. That's what it comes down to, man. All that good food and good stuff.
Now, does Australia, do they have a cuisine, really? Like, like my friend just went there. And
I keep hearing sausage rolls.
Well, my friend went there for a trip, like a month-long trip, and like, it was the first time I kind of thought of that. They're like, yeah, like, it's a beautiful country. They have tons of great stuff, and but there's like no real, like, there's no Australian food. And I was like, oh yeah, you think about that, like we're always like, oh, we're gonna go get Italian food, we're gonna get Thai food. No one's ever like, let's go get some Australian food. What do you guys eat there? What is it?
What we do have is
kangaroo.
I was gonna say kangaroo.
Yeah. No, we don't eat
koala.
We don't eat kangaroo. That's okay. Here's the thing with.
Wait. I think they do. You do.
Let me explain.
I've heard.
We didn't eat kangaroo for a long time because it's shit.
Right.
What we did now, we got to kill 3 million of these things a year because they'll overrun the country.
There's too many of them.
They're like rats, right?
Well, they breed like fucking rabbits. They can carry an
though.
embryo.
Little Joey's in the pouch.
I think they're assholes.
Three kids at once. They can do 3 kids at once. They're just continue. They're worse than rabbits.
Really?
So basically, the problem was we were using kangaroos basically for dog food.
Okay.
They went into dog food kangaroos back in the day. Yeah. And then we realized the Japanese considered kangaroos a delicacy. So now we have grass-fed Wagyu kangaroo selling those to the Japanese.
Wagyu kangaroo.
Wagyu
kangaroo?
Don't you have to like massage? I thought you had to like massage the
You can hug
beef.
a kangaroo. It's okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
You've tasted it? You've had kangaroo?
I've had kangaroo. I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I'm not a fan.
He's got one on his shirt.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, there he is.
If I had the choice, I wouldn't pick kangaroo to eat. Now, just like oxtail, we have kangaroo tail soup. That's fine.
I would try kangaroo. Can you get kangaroo? Now you go to Australia.
I heard it's really lean.
Can you get kangaroo at a local bar somewhere in Australia?
Banned in California.
Banned in California. Yep. Why is that? Do you know?
Because apparently,
everything's banned in California now.
They're too cute.
You're close. Apparently, fucking some animal liberationist was like, Australians are murdering kangaroos. We got to stop this. And we're like, fuck off.
They said that here?
There's 20 million of them.
Yeah.
I said, there's more kangaroos than people almost.
I can't believe
crazy.
California banned kangaroo.
I love that. There is somebody who's like, you know what I care about?
California's
not the
banning,
homeless.
No, they're banning everything.
the kangaroos in Australia.
They banned the flavor
I'm
vapes they've banned. Now it's kangaroos.
Vapes and kangaroos.
What about koala bears? Do people eat those though?
No, you can't eat a koala.
No. They're too cute.
They're the ones
cute,
with,
right?
are those
It's
the ones
funny.
with gonorrhea?
Yeah, well,
They have gonorrhea?
Chlamydia
Chlamydia
will kill the kangaroo. But the problem is the koalas got decimated by a recent run of wildfires down there. They don't do real well. They don't have a natural predator, kangaroo or koalas, other than feral cats and shit like that.
Are they violent koala bears?
They're a little angry. Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
They're kind of asshole-ish. There you go.
Yeah. This is the asshole bear?
Yeah, you can get...
Are all Australian animals just dicks? Like, because I know kangaroos will fuck you up, and then apparently koalas are dicks. Like,
wasn't there that movie Kangaroo Jack or something like that? Wasn't
that's proving Americans are dicks. But that's okay.
What are your thoughts on Crocodile Dundee?
Okay. Man's national treasure.
Paul Hogan.
National treasure.
Absolutely.
They're right. Robert Downey Jr. was correct. That man is a national treasure.
He is.
Okay. Now, the first movie, yes. Second movie, yes. Third movie,
what was that? The one in L.A.?
The third movie was the L.A., and then there was a fourth.
Oh, there was a fourth?
Wow.
Oh, nobody saw the fourth thing.
What was the fourth one? I don't remember the fourth one.
It was an Australian one. It was horrible.
You were looking it up.
I remember, didn't he recently just have a movie where he played himself? Like, where it was
there's a TV series about him in Australia, which I've got a look.
Now, he was nominated for an Oscar for the first one, right? As a writer or something?
He gave a pretty epic Oscars speech, which is at the Oscars. Paul Hogan's speech at the Oscars is one of those epic speeches at the Oscars. But no, I don't think he ever won an Oscar.
He didn't win an Oscar, but he was nominated for.
But he is a beloved. He used to be a comedian.
Yeah, he was nominated for Best Original Screenplay.
Oh, he was a comedian. He used to do sketch comedy. He had a thing called the Paul Hogan Show, which makes Benny Hill look like nothing. He was amazing. The Paul Hogan Show was shit that you cannot get away with now.
Paul Hogan was nominated for Best Original Screenplay, Academy Award for Crocodile Dundee. Yeah.
And Rob, who the fuck won it that year? It was probably some
don't know.
mamby-pamby bullshit movie.
That happens so much. We were talking about that before, like when Titanic won.
Probably got beat by Pulp Fiction.
But it's like but it's amazing.
Hey, Pulp Fiction.
I feel like I have to rewatch the original. I mean, I've seen it, but it's been a while since I've seen the original Crocodile Dundee. But it's like as a script being nominated for an Oscar for the script, I'm like, that's a great accomplishment.
I've been in the bar
as a
at the
comedy,
beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in the bar at the beginning of the movie. The bar, the Walkabout Creek Hotel, at the beginning of that movie.
Yeah.
Was not in a studio. They shot that shit in the middle of Australia, in the middle of nowhere. I had the pleasure of driving across Australia 5 times.
Okay.
And you drive through this place called Walkabout Creek, and the Walkabout Creek Hotel's right there.
Really?
Where they did it, and it's in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Interesting.
There's 3 hours of nothing either side of that town.
Paul Hogan.
So who stays there?
Nobody.
No one stays there.
You drive through these little tiny towns in the middle of nowhere.
But they have a hotel though.
Well, a hotel's a bar. It's a pub.
Oh, okay.
It's a pub.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think anybody's staying. I mean, I couldn't imagine. Well, in Australia, we have pub accommodation. This is one thing you don't have in America. Pub accommodation is fantastic. When you go to a pub in Australia or a hotel, and the old school hotels in Australia, they'll be on the corner of a block.
Yeah.
And they'll have a second story, which is a big veranda upstairs. And upstairs, you'll find these little $20 a night rooms. Where you get a single bed, bathroom down the hall, and you can crash there.
I stayed at a place like that in Amsterdam over a couple months ago. Like it was like a club, and it was like they had hotel rooms in the back of it.
And it's not dirty, it's not seedy. It's
the U.S. has those, but they're like old mining towns.
Yeah,
I mean, like Flagstaff, Arizona has those. You know, like
here it's like the rooms are $600 a night. It's like
you've got to make them that. Otherwise, if you made them $20 a night out here, then it's like 5 junkies upstairs with a crash pad, and you're like, shit.
It's a brothel all of a sudden.
Gotta make it expensive to keep out the riffraff.
For sure, yeah. I think Crocodile Dundee will be rebooted at some point, right?
After the 4th.
I mean, it's a franchise. They're just rebooting every franchise now.
I think it has to be one of those things you can't reboot, doesn't it? I mean,
I think you should be in it.
I thought that until
that would be so good.
I think it should be you.
Yeah, Dan, come on.
But it's like you are like you're the real deal. You're stabbing people. And
there are some things that shouldn't be rebooted. I see they're rebooting Roadhouse, and I was like,
I saw that. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, why?
But here, Dan Green, if they came to you tomorrow, like, hey, we want to reboot Crocodile Dundee with you, you're gonna say?
I would say no.
You'd say no?
I would say no.
Come on.
I would say no.
Bullshit.
I would say no. Well, if you
I
throw
want to
enough
stay
money
living in my apartment behind the Laugh Factory. That's what I want.
I think anybody who
Dan, if they said, Dan, here is we're going to give you $1 million to star in the Crocodile Dundee
I'll tell you
reboot.
who's going to do it. I'll call it right now. Who's going to do it? Who's tone deaf enough to do this shit and so far up his own ass? Chris Hemsworth will redo Crocodile Dundee.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that.
That is a guy who, after watching him. He had that fucking show Limitless, whatever. He just put out some documentary where he runs around and says, "Oh, I just like to push myself to the limit, and I'm amazing, and this is what I do. I push myself every day."
But
dude, you've got so much fucking goddamn money.
He's
you're
too
bored.
famous. The cool thing about Crocodile Dundee, like Paul Hogan, he wasn't famous really
He
here,
kinda
at
came
least
out of
when that movie came out, right?
No,
that made him.
No, Paul Hogan had a job.
Right.
He used to paint the Sydney Harbour Bridge. He was a painter on the Sydney Harbour Bridge.
He was an everyday guy kind of.
Yeah,
thing,
how they do, they paint the Sydney Harbour Bridge almost constantly. They start at one end and they paint the thing, and then when they get to the other end, they come back around and start again because it corrodes.
That's why I'm saying they need to reboot it with an average Joe kind of guy.
Well, then
not a Chris Hemsworth.
Well, see, then you end up with Sam Worthington, who's a fucking bricklayer, and
it
doesn't work all the time.
It's got to be Dan Green.
Dan Green, yeah.
Dan Green.
That's my vote.
I mean, yeah.
That's my vote. Crocodile Dundee.
Listen, mate, I think I'm in trouble.
You at least have to be the sidekick in it or something.
I think that's where I fit in. I fit in that Danny McBride kind of role on the side. I went to a casting agent out here in LA, and he said to me, he took one look at me and said, "You look like the guy that James Bond beats the shit out of before he gets to the last guy."
Yeah.
And
I can see that.
I was like, all right. And he goes, "Yeah. Don't fix this." And he points at my body. He goes, "Because then we've got to fix this." And I'm like, "What are you fucking saying?" He goes, "It just looks like you've been punched in the face a lot." I said, "Yeah, I have."
Yeah,
he
you
goes,
have. Yeah,
we need guys who've been punched in the face.
That's true. Now, have you acted before? Have you thought about acting?
I'm working on getting into it. Yeah.
You should, because you could definitely be that character guy. You got the look, the Australian dialect. I don't know. Like movies are like definitely needing like that kind of like character actor. I think.
Well, I've seen people try and fake Australian accents, and it's really annoying.
Yeah,
really
they sound like a cross between a Brit and somebody from Georgia.
Everyone can do our accent, but like it's like I don't know. It's like,
my American's pretty awful though.
Do it.
Oh, I've got to get back in. It's more of a down home Texas kind of accent like that. One of them hayseed motherfuckers from
That's not bad.
From West Texas.
Yeah, well,
that's not bad. If you put the
that.
southern like drawl Texan thing in there, that's not bad.
It's
Can you do like a New York version?
No, I can't. See, here's the thing. This is why I've kept my accent for so long as well, because conversations like this, I usually go, fuck off. I'm not doing those accents at all.
Right.
Because I'm worried that if I start doing American accents and the wind changes, it'll stay that way.
It'll
just like a face when you're little.
Oh man.
Now the only one I can do really well, I can do Liam Neeson. I can do Northern Ireland without
Northern Ireland.
I was trying to teach an American how to do Australian one night, and we were drunk in a bar and realized I could be a man with a very particular set of skills.
That's great. Yeah,
It was an absolute nightmare for people like you. Yeah, you can have my daughter now, but I'm gonna come and get her.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's
that's
pretty
really
good.
good.
But when you find out that you can
do you use that in your act at all?
yeah, well, no, I haven't figured out how to make it work yet.
You got to use like a taken thing.
But when you figure out that you can do that accent at 4 o'clock in the morning, you call everybody in your phone, and I'm like,
did you just
like,
talk to them immediately? Like,
I'm just people picking up the phone.
I'm gonna have you leave my voicemail message.
I'm like, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. And people are like, I've got caller ID. You're a fucking moron. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Stop calling me. I'm like, it's Liam Neeson. I can't stop.
Rachel, let's hear it. Can you do it? You're an Australian dialect?
I cannot do an Australian
let's see you
accent.
try.
It's nasally. You got to
Go
get
ahead.
right up in there.
Try some.
It's
Do your best.
I know. I just feel like I'm gonna be such an asshole because
Nicole
it's just
Kidman
like
AMC commercial.
like oh god, she's so creepy. The AMC. Like I can't do it.
You got to do the bogan woman accent. You got to be like, come on, Sharon, our love's for real. Our love's for real.
I don't know. He's like, put some shrimp on the barbie. Like that's a
I know. That's the American version. Good day, mate.
Good day, mate.
Good day, mate. I'm Crocodile Dundee. I can't do it.
Right? I know. Put me on the spot.
Get your fucking kids, Sharon. Get your kids now. That's
We'll
how it works. That's the Australian
I
accent.
think it's because I naturally have a bit of a southern accent, and so it's really hard for me to.
We'll have to have Dan teach us how to do the dialect. We'll take dialect
lessons.
Well, it's really easy. I'll give you a lesson right now. I'll give
really
you a really easy one. I'll give you the easiest one right now. You got to say these 3 words.
These 3 words
in your accent, your natural dialect. Not trying to sound Australian, okay? But it'll naturally reflect. It'll change over, okay? You got to say good. You got to say I, as in your eye, and you got to say might, as in you might get me on this again sometime. Now put all those together. Go good eye, mate.
Good eye, might.
Good eye, mate.
Good eye, mate.
Close. You're getting there.
Good eye, mate.
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 It's not bad.
Good eye, mate.
It's not bad. It's not horrible.
Good eye, mate.
We're just gonna keep doing
Good eye,
that.
mate. I'm Crocodile Dundee.
Good eye, mate. Good eye.
Mick Dundee. Wasn't that his name? Mick Dundee.
Good eye, mate.
Good eye, mate.
Visit AMC.
Good eye, mate. Welcome back to the theatre.
I went back to the theatre for the first time the other day. For the first time, I went and watched that Top Gun movie, but the first time I have a theatre across the street, and I've never been there, and I went in there and watched the movie. I watched John Wick kill everybody.
Yeah.
And Nicole Kidman showed up before.
Did you see the Nicole Kidman?
No, they didn't put the Nicole Kidman. I felt cheated, actually. I wanted to go back.
Maybe
and
they're
say,
scaling back on it. They've gotten a lot of complaints.
It's kind of it's just creepy. I don't know.
Are you a fan? So all these, there's a lot of Australian actors that come here and obviously are very successful. Are you Nicole Kidman? Are you a big Nicole Kidman fan? Are you what's the guy? Isn't Spider-Man Australian, or one of them was? No,
he's a Brit.
He's Brit. Sorry.
They kind of sound the same. Yeah.
Who else is Australian?
Joel. I think Joel Edgerton is my Joel Edgerton and Ben Mendelsohn. These are guys who turn up in these side roles that you never see, and you're like, oh, that fucking.
Naomi Watts, she's Australian, right?
Yeah, but she's Australian. Yeah, she does some good stuff as well. Yeah. And we've got some good actors in there.
Heath Ledger, the infamous Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger was the man, mate.
Yeah.
I met him once. Yeah,
I never did.
Yeah.
Never did back in those days, but But I never, nor should I have. I wouldn't have been in the same damn circles back then. But
is arm wrestling big in Australia?
it should be.
It's not.
It's
though.
not.
It's not.
It should be. I've been to an organised arm wrestling competition before. I used to go to lesbian arm wrestling on Sundays.
Lesbian arm wrestling
in Houston, Texas.
Oh wait,
It was
in
awesome.
Texas.
It was awesome.
Lesbian arm wrestling.
My buddy owned a lesbian bar, and every Sundays they used to have lesbian arm wrestling, and we used to go up there and heckle and watch, and it was so much fun.
Oh my god, that sounds awesome.
And you'd have about 12 drinks, and then suddenly I'm like, you know what? I could turn one of these good-looking lesbians. I reckon I could do it. And you go over to the men's room, and the men's room didn't even have a door on it. That's how they didn't give a fuck. And I'm just sitting out there, piercing ladies, look at this. Woohoo! Nothing. Not even look. But it was
You could do that in a straight bar. And
I mean, they had the table, like the over-the-top table and everything like that.
Really?
They were ready to go. And I was like, you want to do this? I went, no, I'm going to get my ass kicked by a lesbian in this bar. I'm not going to do that.
Oh my god,
Chick's
yeah.
big.
Yeah, I've always pictured. I just picture
Why? I'm wondering that too. Like, why do you think Australians should?
I didn't know. Well, speaking of Heath Ledger, I knew one of his assistants at the time, and like he was like really, and he was Australian, and he was really into arm wrestling.
Well, back in those days, we just had.
I just assumed like I was like, oh, this must be
an Australian
must be an
thing?
Australian thing, because like I don't know anyone here that's like, hey, we're gonna go arm wrestle at like a bar. Or
Sounds
something.
like a rich guy way of overcomplicating a fight back in those days.
Probably,
I mean,
yeah.
back in those days, you just got into a fight and you went run, boom, punch on, and then they declare a winner, throw you both out of the bar, and you go to the bar next door and buy the guy you just fought a drink. That's how it usually worked back in those days.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
It was dignified back in those days. You get into a good old bar fight, pick a partner, and off you go. And that's how it worked.
Fights. Lots of fights going on.
They should put UFC in a bar. That would make it a lot more entertaining.
Fun, right?
If you actually
I'd
just
show up for that.
started with the accoutrement of a bar and just been like, okay, you get 3 beer glasses, you get a couple of shot glasses, an ashtray, and off you go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Choose your weapon.
Choose your weapon.
Stool.
Choose your weapon. Yeah,
Thunderdome.
exactly.
2 men in, a 1 man leave. Let's do it in a bar.
Dan, so are there any other asshole stories that you want to share on the podcast?
Oh, mate, I was a fully qualified asshole there for a while. I've ruined some people's nights. I've done some horrible things. I think I almost had a woman scratch my eyes out once.
Oh.
And she was real angry. And I found out where the pain threshold is for ladies. She was there with 3 girls, and I had to turn them away. One of them was hammered or something like that, and she was being real catty about it. She's a good-looking girl in the middle of summer in Houston, and she'd given me the business. She was telling me that, yeah, I'm going to dance on your grave when you die. You're going to have a heart attack and all this shit. She was really giving it to me. And as she walked away, she got about 20 feet away from me, and she was almost out of earshot. And I said to her, and I could tell her dress was a little bit tight on one side, and I was like, yeah, bet you that dress fit better last summer, didn't it?
Oh.
Did she turn around?
She turned around. Her friend turned around first, and her friend's eyes were like overcoat buttons, and I was like, oh, shit. And she just started running back towards me like this, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm about to get fucking clawed to death by this chick. God. And the other girl, one of our waitresses, was standing next to me laughing the whole time. She goes, she's going home to burn that dress now. She goes, you're fucking savage. You just put her in therapy. And I'm like, God. You know what?
She's still there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, those were the kind of things that you really get stuck into people.
Just running your mouth off, kind of. Yeah.
And I'd prefer to do it that way. I mean, I'd like, you know what? I'm not going to get dropped to your level, but if you put me down there, rightio, I'm going to have you look in the mirror for a while.
Well, that's the. I mean, I do think like some sort of verbal, assault is always like the way to get to people's like really, I mean, violence is whatever, but you say something that really irks someone, oh man, that'll stay with them for a long time.
Yeah, I love that. I'm living rent free in your head right now.
Exactly.
Hey.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Exactly. Like I told this girl,
like that stab wound will heal, but like that fucking thing you said to me is like gonna live there probably for the rest of my life at some point.
Oh yeah, I burned this socialite in Houston once, and she was coming up and she was doing the same thing, just and realized she wasn't happening. She had 2 beat-looking girlfriends, and I mean, like, huh? Usually a hoity-toity high society girl, and she's running around with just looked like she picked up 2 hookers on the side of the road. I was like, this ain't happening, and she was stunned at that point, and she's walking away, and I said, hey, before you left me, she turned around, and I said, here's a tip: get better-looking friends.
Oh,
and she lost her fucking mind as well. And still doesn't talk to me to this day. And I'm like,
well, that's a thing. That's a thing. I think like women, maybe of that stature, that caliber, I don't know, they choose girls that are like
they want to be the prettiest.
They
want
to be the pretty
group.
one, right? Like they choose,
absolutely.
like they don't want you. Like you're gonna be bigger than me. Right. You're gonna be less attractive than me because I'm gonna look.
Absolutely, I turned away. I turned away 5 women from a club once because one woman looked like a complete train wreck, and I said, "None of you are getting in." They go, "What's wrong with us?" I said, "You 4 fucking catty bitches let this chick leave the house looking like that." So none of you are getting in. You're not getting in because you look like shit, and you're not getting in because you're fucking a shitty friend.
She's probably like the hottest one, and they were just letting her leave. They were just letting her walk out like a hot mess because they were just
you look great.
Yeah, like you should
dressed
more eyeshadow, way more eyeshadow.
Your skirts tucked into your underpants in the back and shit like that. Just classy.
It's hard to find a good opinion these days. Trustworthy friend that will.
But the one I get at Laugh Factory, I get auditioned for on the concrete out there, which is, let me tell you a joke. No, please don't.
Like with people waiting for the open mic.
No, not even that. Just people walking by. It used to be worse when we used to put the open mic on the marquee, and I told them you can't do that anymore. Yeah. I said because we end up with every nut that walks along Sunset, and there are a bunch. Yeah. Are looking at that going, that's my shot. That's my shot out of the slums, off the streets.
What was interesting?
That's the thing. They come up and ask, and they go, how much money am I going to make if I get booked here as a comedian? I'm like, well, let me just shatter that dream.
I have to say that the Laugh, like out of all the big club open mics, like the Laugh Factory, like I did that open mic a couple times back in the day, and it was like, that one was always the one that had like the most like homeless people or like people in costumes showing up or like crazy
weird,
fucking people.
I love like the names.
Like you definitely have like crazy other people at the other mics, but like these were like the people that were like, oh no, I'm like,
they're just looking for like 2 hours off the street.
Yeah,
they're like, I'll tell it.
The Laugh Factory already gives away like free Thanksgiving dinners.
There was a guy named Harvey that used to run it.
Harvey.
And Harvey ran it for 20 years, and I kind of ambushed it and took it off Harvey after the pandemic. I'm like, I'm going to bring this fucking thing back.
Right.
And I got rid of all I told all because he didn't turn anybody away. So clearly. But Harvey also had this fun thing for Harvey, it was fun, where he would put a microphone at his seat and just interrupt your set halfway through and go, you should do that. And you're like, what the fuck?
I remember if someone ran the light, he'd be like, okay, or something like that. He'd be like, that's all I remember. Like I was like the fucking like voice was always like in the back, like
okay.
Yeah. So I went in there and said, listen, me and Nick Hurley went in there and said we're gonna redo this. And that was my first point was like with the new production people. I said, don't you fucking dare put this on the marquee. Right. I said we'll get comics back in here, and it took a year, but we've had some. If they don't pass the smell test at the front door, you're like, you know what, mate? Maybe it's not for you.
I think I remember like my 4th time doing it, and it was probably my last time doing that open mic. Like there was a guy dressed as the Grim Reaper, like in front of me or something like that, and I was just like, all right, this is it. I'm done with this.
They just need to start. They need to stop calling these things open mics and call them auditions for what they actually are. Right. Say, listen, don't turn up looking like that here. Right. I mean, the amount of times I've had people. I tell people who come to these things, they come every week and they bomb 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 and they bomb. And I tell them, I said, listen, you could get struck by comedy lightning at this point. Pryor could inhabit your soul on stage and no one is listening because you've bombed so many fucking times.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Everybody's checking their email as soon as you walk up on stage. No one gives a fuck what's coming out of your mouth. Right. And they're like, oh, well, okay then. But you'd get people that come and go, yeah, do you think I should do this as a career? I'm thinking about it. I said, no, you should quit right now. Yeah. And they go, oh. And I'm like, well, you should definitely, if that's all the backbone you've got, fucking leave. If that's all it takes.
That's all it took.
It always fascinated me because like you'd meet so many interesting people. Like I'd almost rather like bring this podcast there and just go down the line and like interview everyone and be like, because like there were people who like driving like, I drove 3.5 hours to come to this to hopefully get picked out of the fucking thing or whatever, and it's like. And it's like, Jesus Christ.
Then they get up there and they've got nothing.
And they got nothing. Yeah. Nothing. Yeah. And it's like, wow, man. Do you have, like, what are you doing? Like, do you have that time to fucking waste?
And they're the best ones. They're the ones who are like, I'm getting booked on the back of my first set ever. And you're like, no, you're fucking not. Yeah. And you're like, that's just not going to happen unless you're T.I.
Or the people that bring,
Unless you're T.I., yeah.
Yeah, T.I., yeah, exactly. The people that bring chairs and coolers up there and like sit there all day.
Out there for,
oh my God.
Sit out there from noon and you're like, you don't have to do this, dude. You can just get there a little early and you'll be fine.
Right, you'll be fine. Yeah. People sleeping over. Yeah.
Like I got a guy the other week who was like, you don't take me seriously as a comic. I said, absolutely I don't. I said, you're out there at noon.
Yeah.
Why the fuck should I take you seriously at 11 o'clock at night? I'm like, no, not at all.
Exactly.
Oh, but I want it. I'm like, you've established that.
Yeah.
Well,
clearly, because you have nothing else going on all day that you can be here at 11 a.m.
There's like, I mean, there's like you want to sit on the sidewalk, or do you want to go like actually grind and go work and get better? Like sitting on the sidewalk waiting, it's not going to make you a better.
There's so many other things you could be doing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that's the same guy who thinks he has a miracle personality and doesn't need to write a joke, and he can just I can just expand my thoughts on stage, and I'm like, yeah, you can try.
Right.
That's not going to work, but yeah.
All right. Well, we got to wrap up here. But Dan, these are some great, interesting asshole moments. I'd say bar stories.
I'm not done being an asshole
yet.
No. I'm just winding up. I'm 47. I'm 47, mate.
I feel like you have a leg up because you're Australian.
You do, yeah. It sounds like you have some pretty adventurous stories.
I'm looking forward to getting curmudgeonly in my 50s, mate.
Yeah,
I really am looking forward to that.
Yeah, well, we definitely have to have you on the live show where you can flush out your asshole story for a true crowd that will appreciate it. We'll have you on that upcoming soon.
That'd be great.
Yeah, for sure. If there were 3 words that you could tell your younger self, what would those be?
Ooh, don't marry her.
Don't marry her. Don't marry her. Okay.
So marry him.
So are you divorced? Are you married?
Oh, yeah. I married a woman I met on a Monday night in a bar.
Oh, all right. How long were you guys married?
About 3 years.
3 years. Okay. All right. Don't marry her. Yeah, it'll fuck up your world for a while, right?
It did for about a decade.
Yeah.
That one was a bit of head scratching involved until I was like, hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah.
No, that's a whole fun experience. It's a whole nother level of arsehole shit there. Yeah, but it got me a green card, so yeah.
Hey, you know what?
America.
You got something out of it.
There we go. All
right. I got some consolation prizes out of it all.
Right.
So yeah,
exactly. Things that are worthwhile, long lasting. Yeah. All right. Perfect. All right. Don't marry her. I like that one. All right. Well, we do have our live show. I'm a Basshole is going to be Tuesday this week. Today, actually. Well, I know we're recording this Sunday, but we're going to release this on Tuesday. So today, April 18th at the Hollywood Improv, 7:30 p.m. Go to bassholeshow.com to get tickets. We got a great show. We got Tom Arnold on it. Rachel D will be there. Rob will be there. He's not on this show, obviously, for all the Rob fans. So sorry.
All the haters.
Sorry,
all the haters. The hate watchers.
I was going to call Rob during this episode because he was an asshole this week. But I'll just say, yeah, he borrowed one of the microphones for the podcast. And I was like, give me my microphone back. Because I need to do it. And then he left it at CJ's house and never brought it back. And I was like, come on, man. That's it. We'll talk about it.
Dude, we didn't even cover it. I'm an Astros fan in LA as well, which makes me a super asshole.
Oh, because they're the cheaters, aren't they? Yeah.
So I'm wearing an Astros hat around most days in LA.
Yeah,
so yeah.
People will come up to you and give you.
I only got told to get fucked 6 times last week. It's fine. You're getting soft, LA. Bring it. Those are rookie numbers.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's all good. I wear a Giants hat all the time. So we should walk around together and see what happens.
You should. Maybe you guys will get stabbed. Maybe you'll get stabbed again. You know, I don't know.
Don't
go to Dodger Stadium.
With a camera. I think that might be entertaining.
Dodger Stadium is where the stabbings happen. So
it's time to get shot. We're leveling up. All right.
Leveling up. Yeah, there you go. All right, make sure you follow Dan Green at Dan Green Comedy. Follow Rachel D at Rachel D Comedy. Make sure you follow the podcast at Basshole Show, the YouTube channel, all that good stuff. Dan, do you have anything to promote that's coming up?
Yeah, check out the Verbal Gym on Spotify and Apple iTunes. And I have a little thing on Facebook called Are You My Vegemite, where I poison LA comics with Vegemite for the first time. And that's
what is Vegemite?
Vegemite is our national food. That's our cuisine right
that's
there.
The cuisine. Yeah.
Well, it's
I've never had it either. I've seen it. It looks terrifying.
It's good.
Yeah,
It's good.
I actually,
I think it's an acquired taste.
You poisoned them.
My next episode comes out tomorrow. We combined it with cannabis butter, and I had veggie weed.
All right.
Yeah, I don't.
Does it go down better if you?
Well, I ended up super high because I did 80 milligrams of it, and 80 milligrams of canna butter with Vegemite.
Oh my God! All right,
we'll get you high.
I got to check that out. I feel like there's so much more we have to talk to Dan about, so we'll definitely have you back.
I know.
We're just scratching the surface.
We gotta see Dan on the live show.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Rachel, anything you want to promote that's coming up?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna be at the Hollywood Comedy next Saturday, and then I'm hosting Well Dressed at the Roosevelt on the 28th. So that's gonna be a really fun show. Comics are forced to dress up and look nice. So
Oh man,
makes us all very uncomfortable.
I don't think I even have anything to wear to go to that show. All right, well, make sure you guys go check out those shows and the Dan's podcast and all that stuff, and come to the Basshole live show today, Tuesday, April 18th. We'll see you there. And we have some exciting announcements coming up in the next week or so that we will make sure we get all that information to you guys. Guys, keep subscribing, keep listening. Tell your friends if you want to, subscribe. And if you think you're a asshole, you have an asshole story, email us. We like to hear from regular people too. Dan, thanks so much for being on the show today. I know it was early. We got everyone up today. Rachel, thanks for coming out.
It's been a pleasure, mate.
Yeah, of course. All right, guys. Remember, don't be a basshole, but if you are, laugh about it. Bye.
You've been listening to I'm a Basshole with Doug Bass. Follow us on Instagram at Basshole Show. Think you deserve to be on the show? Email us at contact@bassholeshow.com and visit our website at www.bassholeshow.com and get the latest information. Subscribe on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast fix. And don't miss the full videos on YouTube. Remember, don't be a basshole, but if you are, laugh about it. We'll see you next time.